Welcome back, family, to the Truth Be Told podcast, where we tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help us, God. If you haven't noticed by now, over here on this channel, the only tea that we talk about is the true tea. Okay, so what's today's tea or topic, you might ask? Before we can get into that, let's take care of some front end business so we don't have to address it later in the message, okay? Let's discuss what an allegory is as it pertains to not only this message and other messages on the channel, but also the things we encounter in life. An allegory is just a story, poem, or picture that can be interpreted for a deeper hidden message, okay? So, as I mentioned, not only does this pertain to this message, but many messages on the channel, and also many of the things we encounter in our everyday experiences in life. We should be looking at them through a deeper lens, okay, to derive the deeper message, not just in stories, poems, and pictures, but definitely the music and movies we pay so much attention to anyway. What are these stories, music, lyrics, etc. trying to tell you? Okay, so are you good at deriving the moral of the story or the deeper message within the things that you are seeing in life in general overall? Okay, so today's tea or topic is the modern golden calf, which is derived from the story about the golden calf in the Bible. In Exodus 32, we find Moses, who is receiving basic instructions or the Ten Commandments, as we so commonly know it as, from God for the Israelites, whom he just led out of captivity from the Pharaoh. In his absence, Moses' brother Aaron was entrusted to mind the masses while Moses was receiving the next instructions they needed on their journey. Aaron, however, who had one job to do, was persuaded by the Israelites to make a golden calf out of like jewelry and ornaments and other things that they had with them to praise and worship as God. When God gets wind of this, he is pissed to the highest level of festivity, as my father would say. But yet again, Moses intercedes on behalf of the Israelites. This allegory highlights the human propensity for impatience, tendency toward idolatry, and the severe consequences that come with breaking this sacred covenant or contract. We can correlate this idea to breaking contracts in modern day, right? And the consequences you might face when done so, okay? Just think of this on a higher scale as we are talking about a contract with the Most High. So, there's levels to this, right? Now, as this is an allegory, we can interpret this story in a myriad of ways. We can look at it quite literally as they formed a calf out of gold and prayed to it and worshiped it as God, right? Or we could take a deeper look at this and see that this is perhaps meant to represent all the things we put before God, our connection with God, the God within ourselves, and seeing the God in others. Simply put, we can look at the modern representation of all the things we choose to idolize today, right? We don't have to go back to these stories. We can look at what we idolize today. I can think of a few examples myself. I'm sure you can as well. Jewelry, fancy labels, luxury cars, titles, and most of all, the celebrities many have begun to worship as the gods in their life, right? So instead of focusing on the truth, you're focused on celebrities. Unfortunately, family, we have been hoodwinked You would have thought by now we would have learned these lessons over thousands of years, over hearing these stories hundreds of thousands of times. This story in particular, right? What if I told you the modern golden calf exists right here in America to this very day? It's been sitting in our face the entire time, just minutes away from what is meant to symbolize our freedom. Their real idol stands as a statue in the middle of Wall Street. If you haven't noticed by now, I am talking about the bronze bull of Wall Street. Now, what is a bull defined as? Don't worry, I've handled the research for you and I will let you know. A bull is defined as a full grown or matured calf. This bull in particular is meant to represent the aggressive nature of the financial systems in America and its strongholds on its people. Perhaps this is a direct symbol that the beast is full grown, right in the middle of Wall Street, the epicenter of American finance and a major hub in the global finance scene. I hate to be the one to break it to you, but you know I got to tell you the truth. We've all been fooled into worshiping the idol of capitalism, money, instead of valuing what truly matters. True happiness, fulfillment, family, pursuing our purpose instead of paychecks and popularity, and most of all, humans treating humanity humanely. We've read these stories thousands of times, yet it seems not many are deriving the true messages or morals to the story that we are meant to perceive. This story in particular, we are meant to understand the severe consequences that come from valuing money over the things money cannot buy. A story, lesson we've heard time and time again, yet we've all been guilty of doing this very thing. Valuing money over our connection to self, each other, and God, compassion, kindness, love, support, and most of all, our purpose as individuals to serve humanity as a whole. At this point, family, we all should know better, right? We know how this story ends, despite the illusions they use to illustrate it otherwise. You know what they say: believe none of what you hear and half of what you see. And most times, that's not even true. So, this is just another topic that we should be discussing and delving into further. More true tea instead of focusing on celebrity. Here we have yet again another topic we can delve into and expound upon for further advancement of not only ourselves but society as a whole to benefit us all. Instead of focusing on celebrity tea, we should be focusing on the truth tea, right? So that is all for this message, family. Remember to tap in below with your ideas, thoughts, comments about the matter, okay? And remember what I always say: truth without love is brutality, and love without truth is hypocrisy. Remember, fools multiply when wise men are silent, so we mustn't be silent. We must tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, even when it hurts. So until next time, family, peace.